Willkommen zum aktuellen GOLDINVEST Exklusivinterview. Wir sprechen einmal mehr mit Simon Lill von De Grey Mining, einem sehr spannenden Goldexplorer aus Australien, der auch vor kurzem einige sehr gute Bohrergebnisse vorgelegt hat. Welcome, Simon. Glad to have you here. Tell us a bit what's going on at the project, because I heard a big cyclone passed through the region recently.
Yes, hi Bjorn, how are you going? We've had Cyclone Veronica go past right over Port Hedland and pretty well right over our campsite and where we've been drilling. We had to evacuate everyone last Thursday, Friday, which is standard practice, and tie everything down. It's dropped about 500 millimetres of rain on it. There's all these wonderful dry rivers up there that you never see running, and I'd love to be up there watching them run with the rain. But look, it's an unusual thing to say perhaps, but having a pause in our drilling, getting some time to catch up on some work, it's not a bad thing for us. I think it can work reasonably well. We won't be back drilling for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then we plan to get back into it at Withnell, in the deeper drilling that we've been doing, and again at Taurana, where we are quite excited. So we'll have 2 rigs going again, hopefully in about 3 weeks' time.
Okay, so let's talk about the drilling you've done recently. The last batch of results you put out was from Withnell. There were some pretty decent high-grade results in there. Can you sum up the results for us a bit?
Yeah, look, what we're trying to achieve at Withnell Underground, I mean, Withnell's our major pit at this point in time. It's got some excellent intersections underground already, and we're trying to drill it up to show that it's got potential to host an underground mine of circa 2 to 2.5 million tonnes at, let's say, what we're looking for is roughly a 5 gram a tonne ore body to substantiate the underground development. The results, every now and then you get one that misses, but the results have been pretty good, and we're starting to get a better understanding of what's happening down there. It does look as though there's a series of plunging chutes developing, and look, we're reasonably comfortable that we're achieving the outcomes. If you recall, our technical director, Andy Beckwith, does have an exploration target on the region of 360 to 720,000 ounces. It is a big system. It's basically a 6 kilometre trend along the Withnell trend, but lode 1 is 600 or 700 metres in its own right. So yes, we're pleased with the initial results.
Okay.
I can say that there is further results pending. I think we've got about another 10 holes to report that have been drilled, and we're awaiting assays for them.
Okay, so we're hearing more from that hopefully shortly. All depends on how the lab is working, of course. So as you said, Withnell is the main pit, or the main deposit you're going after on the Pilbara-Goldprojekt. You're trying to achieve this year a 2 million ounce target, or that you set for yourself in exploration. Of course, you're going after other deposits too. I think Taurana is probably the one we have to talk about, or should talk about in this respect. Can you tell us a bit?
Yes,
what's happening there?
I did say Withnell is our main pit at this point in time. We do have high expectations in Taurana, and I'm not sure if the market realised how good the last release was. Again, Andy Beckwith, our technical director, did put down an exploration target of 800,000 ounces, including the existing resources of 150,000 ounces. Now, this is a granite plug about 250 metres in diameter. It's been fractured. Fluids have come through from the earth and has created a whole lot of these quartz veining, quite narrow, that are proven to be gold-filled. Filled with gold is probably a better way to put it. Geologically, the geologists in here tell me structurally that should continue downwards. So Andy provided the exploration target to 400 metres. He could have put it down to 800 metres if he wanted to, but 400 metres, we have proof from an old hole that the mineralisation does continue at 425 metres. So we know we'll get mineralisation down there. Is it consistent with what we've got up the top in the first 100 metres? Is it greater? There's always the chance that we might find a larger fracture. So at 400 metres, we've got an 800,000 ounce target. You can probably work it out yourself if you say it can go to 800 metres. We are drilling there at the moment, absent the cyclone, of course. We're probably about 60% of the way through. We should be getting assays through. I'm not sure how many of the samples got down or left Port Hedland before the floods came, the cyclone came. But this is a deposit that, it can be transformational for the project. There will be lots of results coming through from it over the next 3 months. The other really exciting thing that we think about it is that within the announcement, we've got a photo of some core, and these are narrow quartz veins within a granite plug. The granite core looks so different to the quartz core, and we are hopeful that if ore sorting can work, again, it's transformational. You can look at ore sorting on site. You're basically reducing the volume of ore that you will then deliver to the plant and increasing the grade effectively, and that becomes exciting. It may allow us to put higher grade ore into the plant. But like all these things, Bjorn, the truth will be in the telling. We've got to wait for the results, and we've got to wait for the ore sorting results as well. But we are doing that work at the moment, and the combination of the two could be very exciting for Tauranga and could be very exciting for De Grey.
It certainly looks like you're making a lot of headway there. Something I don't know if we really talked about that earlier, but I think the market didn't really recognize the importance of that was the metallurgical results you put out a while back. Because we've been talking about all the drill results now, and it's going according to plan. But also on the metallurgical side, which is people often don't realize how important that is that you had good rates for separating the metal from the ore. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Yeah, look, I won't get too technical about it, but we've been working on the metallurgy in the background. Withnell as our major deposit at the moment. It has reasonably good grade. It's a sulfidic deposit in many, many areas. We have a number of sulfidic deposits and fresh rock deposits across the project. We used a recovery of 80% in the scoping study that we reported. So you're getting 80% of the gold back out. We've now announced that we are very comfortable that the process route that we've chosen or that we've worked on is getting us recoveries of 90%. Now, 80% to 90% is a significant increase, and it's very important to the economics of a project. We still have other deposits to test. We know that Molina will have some difficulties, but we think those difficulties will be similar to what we've seen at Withnell too. So we think our process flow sheet should cover most of those evils and should withstand those sort of issues. We also believe we've got room for further optimisation as well. So,
okay, that's very good to hear. Well, we've been talking about parts of the project, but there's a question or not an issue, but something upcoming for the project as a whole, which is you have to make a payment for part of for the indie project, as it's called, I think. Can you tell us about that? How is that a problem? Are you already working on that?
Yeah, look, we entered into an option agreement with a Chinese group to acquire Indie, which is roughly 40% of our project. It's the tenement heading towards the west, heading towards the southwest. We've been aware of it for a long time. We've had a good relationship with Indie, with the Chinese owners of Indie, I should say. This is not a new thing for us. We're comfortable. We think we've had a good track record, actually, in raising capital and surprising the market at times. And we think we do have options in this area. We're assessing what those options are, and we're relatively comfortable that we've got it under control. Markets can change, gold prices can change, etc., etc. But at this point in time, we're pretty comfortable about it.
Okay, so when you say gold price can change, at the moment it looks like the gold price might be changing for the better.
And beyond, if you put that in Australian dollars, it's very good for us.
Yes, I was coming to that because Australian gold producers are sort of reaping in the cash, basically, because it's gold is at an all-time high in Australian dollars, right? Or close to.
Yeah, look, it's frustrating. The gold producers are all making lots of money. They all talk about growing by acquisition. We haven't had too many of them talk to us, and I guess maybe it's not yet coming down to that next level where we are at in that gold development bracket, perhaps.
But for the future, we'll see how it goes. I've seen a lot of different prognosis for the gold price, forecasts for the gold price. Let's hope it goes further up, which would at some point in time certainly benefit the explorers like De Grey also. Simon, unless you have something to add, thank you for taking the time of talk to us again. And we'll be sure to looking forward to the next couple of results coming out.
Yes, well, as I said, Bjorn, I think in the next 3 or 4 weeks there'll be further results about those 2 resources we've just talked about. Maybe that's a good time to catch up after that.
Okay, talk to you then. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Bjorn. Cheers.